In this video, we're going to be looking at doing a quadratic word problem. So in this one, we've got the Arc de Triomphe is a big monument in Paris, and we've got some dimensions about it. So the arch has a length of 12 meters and a height of 5 meters. And the arch is up 20 meters in the air sur deux colonnes verticales. So you can kind of see we're kind of talking about the, let me see if I can make it pop a little bit better. Something like this pops. Yeah. So we're kind of talking about this right here, this arch right there. So first thing we want to do is draw a graph using a parabola to model the location of the arch and with a function h of d, where h is the distance. So cool. I'm just going to kind of draw this in the air. So I see that it's 20 meters in the air, so I'll call that 20. It has a width or a length of 12 meters. And it goes, so like this part right here is 5 meters above the baseline there. So if I'm 20 meters in the air, that means I'm going to go up to 25. And because I'm going to use a parabola, I can say, okay, the actual apex of it, the vertex is going to be at 6. And so I'll call it, kind of just draw like a little parabola that looks like this, right in the air like that. Cool. What is the function that models that? Okay, lots of different ways we can do this. So the first way is to actually recognize that I can just use vertex form. So I can say this is 625 right here. I know the vertex. I know a couple of points that I can plug in where this is 12, 20, and this is 0, 20. So I can do that. I can do vertex form. I can even use factored form and pretend that this right here is my x-axis and say like x onto x minus 12. And then at the end, translate it up 20 by adding 20 to it. I suspect most students would just use vertex form. That's how I'm going to solve it through, but I will show the other way at the end of the video there. So I'll say, okay, y equals a onto x minus p squared plus q. And then I would immediately say, okay, p and q are 6 and 25, so 6 squared plus 25, x, a is equal to y. I'm going to grab my y-intercept there to make my life easier. I'm going to say 20 is equal to a, x, that should be minus 6 squared plus 25. Then I'm going to say, okay, minus 25 from both sides. I'm going to give me negative 5 is equal to a onto... Oh, sorry, I forgot to draw. Here I am thinking, okay, how am I going to solve for two variables? I didn't replace the other variable. 0 and 0 here. So this is, let me just do this quickly. 0 minus 6 is negative 6. Squared is 36. So a then is negative 5 over 36. So I can write this as y equals negative 5 over 36 onto x minus 6 squared plus 25. Okay, and I think they wanted us to use different variables here, h today. So I'm going to say h of d, and this should be d there. Okay, so that's one way I can do it. The other way was for me just to pretend that it's actually on the ground for a second. I would say, okay, y equals a onto x. I can write x minus 0 because it's just right there at the origin. And then I would write x minus 12. Okay, and this way is like pretend that it kind of looks like this, where it's just on the ground like that, and that's 6, and that's 5. And so I do know that this is 6, 5. So then I could say, okay, 5 is equal to a 6, 6 minus 12, 5 is equal to a 6 onto negative 6, 5 is equal to a onto negative 36, and a is equal to, a is equal to negative 36. 5 over negative 36. I can speak and talk. That doesn't make sense. I can speak and do math. However, when I actually go to expand this out here and write it, so I would write h today is equal to negative 5 over 36, d onto d minus 12. Then I have to recognize that it's not actually on the ground. That whole arch is 20 meters in the air. So I would take this and say, hey, just kidding, add 20 to it. Okay? And these are the same. Are the same. Smiley face. Okay? And then I'm willing to bet we need to determine the domain and range. So obviously, it doesn't matter which one we're using, they're going to have the same domain and range because that only models the arch itself. And once we get outside that domain, it's not valid. So I would say d on the condition of d has to be less than or equal to 12 and greater than or equal to 0. And of course, it can be a real number. And my h variable is going to be greater than or equal to 20. Oh, greater than or equal to 20 and less than or equal to 25. And of course, h is a real number, and I should be consistent. These are capitals here. And that would be that question. Anyways, that's it for this video, and I think that's it for our series there. And I will see you guys in class. Message me on Teams if you've got questions, but I'm around.